let's do some rapid fire questions. You're a morning or night person?
Night.
Oh. Introvert or extrovert?
I'm very shy,
Really?
as you can see.
Oh my gosh, that's what I was thinking. Did you have a favorite subject in school?
Not many.
Okay.
Physical ed.
Let's see. What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
What would I tell my 18-year-old self? Well, I think learning and going to school and everything that I did with diplomas meant nothing today. And I think that as we have this conversation and some have a debate on education, if we were to go back and say if we did it again, I would probably be more hard charging in the private sector and go right to work.
Mm-hmm.
Did the degree allow me to get my first job? It was the only way Sheriff Crowder would hire me if I came back with a 4-year degree. However, he did hire other people that did not have any school because they weren't going down that path. And he knew, as a young man, that's what I needed to do.
Right.
And he told me to do so. But looking at what I know now, and that we were going into a great economy, the money that I could have made. I mean, I bought my first house in town for $100,000.
Oh my.
And so going back to then, I would have done nothing but work hard and just continue to buy real estate. Like a tremendous amount of real estate, because that same lot I split up into two, and recently they just sold. And I sold the home later on to buy my next home. But when I started at the sheriff's office, I was making $17,000 a year. So I went to school for 4 years. I had student loans. I had all the debt that I paid. I had a lawn company going into college. I sold that just to make the money to go to school. So you're just going backwards. And now we hear about all these kids with student loan debt.
Right.
And that whether good, bad, or indifferent, that's another topic of paying it off or not. But I paid it off because it was a debt. It's just like a credit card. I don't expect you to pay for my credit card. I don't expect for you to pay for my school. But going back to your question, I probably been a little bit more hard charging in the private sector. I probably still would have went to work at the sheriff's office. But in this day and age, $17,000 a year, that's a quarter of a year of just rent locally. I mean, it's $3,500 to live somewhere. So it's unsustainable. And there is good because you do have a retirement at the end of that. But if you're making $17,000 a year and they take the top 5 of it, what really are you going to live? And you better have that home and stay in that home. And historically, your parents always had a home and stayed in the home. And that was their nest egg when they retired. To sell it, to give it away to their children, whatever that meant. And nowadays, people, if it's, and I'm guilty of it, if I stay in a house 2 or 3 years, that's a long time.
Right.
Because there is so much uptick on selling it. And they always say, well, where are you going to go? You can always find somewhere to go. There's always somebody going to sell low because they have to get out. And you're not there to get involved in trying to take somebody else's loss and make it your own, but sometimes you walk into it and that's just the way life is. So I probably would have focused a little bit more on buying a lot more real estate. I don't know that I wouldn't have gone to school, but I already had a tremendous amount of credits from IRSC when I graduated from high school.
Okay.
So staying locally maybe would have been another option, but I wanted to get away, and I'm glad I did get away. And some of my best friends that I still have to this day, I met at Florida State. And so I think the experience, because my grades weren't the best in the world, but I got, I graduated. And then I went right into the police academy. And if it's test taking, I'm horrible. If it's get a microphone and have a debate with somebody, let's go, right?
Oh.
So I think that, and I said the other day, if you could go get a master's, or you could go, and all you needed to do is talk and do your own research and debate somebody, because our presidential is a debate.
Yes.
It's not a matter of what their credentials are. Most of the time, people get elected because of how they speak and what they talk about, not what they know or have done, clearly.
Agreed.
So I think that if I know what I know now, I would have done that, focused on real estate, and I'm encouraging my son to go into the military. I probably should have done that too. You can retire after 20 years. I would have been out now a long time if it was 20 years ago, and would have been in the private sector with a lifetime of health insurance and a great career, and who knows. But I'm not taking back anything I've ever done in anything that in any way, shape, or form, whether it was in Congress or the sheriff's office or somebody you dated or somewhere I worked, right? It's all a lesson that we learn from. So I would say to anybody that's 18 to save everything they can. There's no need to impress your buddy, right? And just do what you want to do. But unfortunately, social media has changed that game, and we're here to impress you and her and them. And for whatever reason, it doesn't bother me. You got to have thick skin to be a cop. You got to have thick skin to be in politics. You got to be able to be beat up, whether it's local critics or it's national critics. But if you were to put them across from me with a microphone and give me a couple days of doing research about them, let's see how the tide turns. And so I think that's where people don't take into consideration that they can sit behind a keyboard and say what they want until it's time to go. So,
Would you rather have a personal maid or a personal chef?
Chef.
Ooh, yeah. Good choice.
I have OCD as it is, so.
Yes.
You gotta ask it again, because she's doing this.
Okay. Would you rather have the ability to see 10 minutes into the future or 150 years into the future?
A short time into the future or a long time in the future? Probably a short time.
Okay. Nice. What's your ick?
My what?
Your ick. Something that you're like, ooh, it's just a turn off.
Smell.
There you go.
My ick.
Oh, goodness. Carrot cake with frosting or no frosting?
Wait, what?
Frosting or no frosting on a carrot cake? No frosting, because the carrot cake, when it's prepared correctly, it has a lot of nutrients and vitamins in it.
It does.
I mean, I can add the frosting at a later time. I'll just I'm glad this is take one of everything. We're gonna have to.
Are you glad to be the first?
We're gonna redo the whole thing.
I thought this was a really nice thing.
Look at
And he's
this.
saying,
You ready?